Northern Ireland's most haunted pubs. Northern Ireland is known for its vibrant pub culture, where stories flow as freely as the pints. But some pubs carry more than just history, they carry the spirits of those long gone. In today's video, we're exploring the 7 most haunted pubs in Northern Ireland, where ghostly apparitions, mysterious sounds, and paranormal activity are all part of the charm. From shadowy figures to glasses that move on their own, these pubs offer more than just a drink, they offer a glimpse into the supernatural. So, grab a seat and join us as we uncover the spooky tales behind these iconic locations. The Sunflower Pub, Belfast. The Sunflower Pub, located in Belfast's Cathedral Quarter, is known for its friendly atmosphere, live music, and unique charm. But beyond the pub's vibrant exterior lies a history filled with mysterious happenings and unexplained phenomena that have made the Sunflower a hotbed of ghostly encounters. The building itself dates back to the 19th century and was once part of a busy industrial area. Over the years, it has served as a pub, a boarding house, and even a refuge for those seeking shelter during the Troubles. With such a long and eventful history, it's no wonder that the Sunflower has its fair share of ghost stories. One of the most persistent ghostly figures seen at the Sunflower is that of an elderly woman who is often spotted sitting in one of the corner booths, sipping a drink and watching the patrons with a calm, knowing smile. Staff and customers have reported seeing her out of the corner of their eye, only for her to vanish when they turn to look directly at her. Some believe she may have been a former landlady who ran the pub during the early 20th century, while others think she could be a regular customer who never quite left. One of the eeriest incidents occurred late one evening when a group of friends were enjoying a quiet night in the pub. As they chatted, they noticed an old woman sitting nearby, quietly observing them. They thought little of it, assuming she was another customer. However, when they went to leave and turned to say goodbye, she was gone, and the bartender confirmed that no elderly woman had been in the pub that evening. The table where she had been sitting was undisturbed, with not a single glass or chair out of place. In addition to the mysterious old woman, the Sunflower is also known for its strange sounds and unexplained occurrences. Many staff members have reported hearing faint whispers coming from the empty cellar late at night, as if a conversation is taking place just out of earshot. Others have felt a sudden, chilling breeze sweep through the room, even though all the windows and doors were closed. One bartender even claimed to have seen glasses move across the bar on their own, as if pushed by an unseen hand. Another ghostly figure believed to haunt the Sunflower is a man dressed in old work clothes, likely from the pub's industrial past. He is often seen standing near the entrance, as though waiting for someone to arrive. One patron described seeing the figure while entering the pub, only to realize that the man's clothing seemed out of place. When he looked again, the figure had vanished into thin air. The Sunflower's ghostly activity is not confined to visual sightings. Some patrons have reported feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness when entering certain areas of the pub, as though the emotions of those long gone still linger in the air. This heavy atmosphere is particularly noticeable in the upstairs rooms, where many believe the spirits of former residents still roam. Despite these ghostly encounters, the Sunflower remains a beloved spot for locals and tourists alike. For those who enjoy a pint with a side of the paranormal, the Sunflower offers the perfect combination of warmth, history, and the possibility of a ghostly visitor. The Crosskeys in Tomb. The Crosskeys in Tomb is often touted as the oldest thatched pub in Northern Ireland, dating back to 1654. Its thatched roof and historic decor transport visitors back to a time when the pub served as a crucial meeting point for locals and travellers. However, the charm of the Crosskeys isn't its only draw, it's also home to a number of ghostly figures who seem tied to the building's long history. One of the most famous stories involves a former landlord who died under suspicious circumstances in the 18th century. His ghost, often seen by staff late at night, is described as a stout man wearing a waistcoat and cap. He's known to move objects around the bar, particularly glasses and bottles, as if still tending to his duties. Some staff members have reported seeing him standing near the fireplace, watching the pub as if overseeing its operation. When they blink or look away, he vanishes without a trace. The pub is also known for its connection to Irish folklore, and locals believe that the area surrounding the inn was once a meeting place for the fairy folk. On quiet nights, some say you can hear soft music playing from the fields nearby, and lights flicker around the building with no explanation. But the most unsettling story involves the ghost of a young girl who is said to haunt the back bar. Visitors have reported feeling an overwhelming sense of unease when walking past the stairs, with some even refusing to enter the back rooms where the girl is most often seen. One particularly chilling account comes from a visitor who, while staying in a nearby guest house, woke up to see the figure of a young girl standing at the foot of his bed. He described her as staring intently, her expression blank, but her presence was enough to send a cold shiver down his spine. When he blinked, she was gone, leaving only a sense of dread behind. The pub's connection to Irish folklore doesn't end with the hauntings of the young girl and the mysterious landlord. Local legends also speak of the land surrounding the Crosskeys Inn as being a meeting place for their good people, or the fairy folk. On certain nights, particularly around Samhain, Halloween, eerie lights are said to flicker in the fields nearby, and strange, melodic music can sometimes be heard drifting on the wind. Some locals believe that the spirits of the fairies are active in the area, adding to the supernatural energy that already fills the inn. The Crosskeys Inn remains one of Northern Ireland's most atmospheric and haunted pubs, with its history deeply entwined with both the world of the living and the dead. For those who dare to visit, it offers more than just a drink and a warm fire. It offers the chance to experience the presence of those who may never truly leave. The Crown Liquor Saloon, Belfast. One of Belfast's most iconic landmarks, the Crown Liquor Saloon is as famous for its intricate Victorian decor as it is for its ghosts. The pub was established in 1826 and is widely regarded as one of the finest examples of a traditional gin palace in Ireland. With its stained glass windows, gas lamps, and beautifully carved woodwork, the pub looks almost untouched by time. But it's not just the atmosphere that lures in visitors, many come in hopes of encountering the supernatural. The Crown Liquor Saloon is said to be haunted by the spirit of a former barman, who is often seen by both staff and patrons late at night. Described as an elderly man wearing a traditional barman's apron, his ghost has been spotted polishing glasses or wiping down the bar, as if he's still going about his duties. Some say they felt a cold breeze sweep through the bar, only to turn around and see the figure vanish into thin air. One chilling incident involved a group of tourists who claimed to have seen the ghost of the barman appear in the mirror behind the bar. He was standing perfectly still, staring at them, but when they turned around, there was no one there. The group was so shaken that they left the pub immediately. But the ghostly activity doesn't stop there. Many have reported hearing disembodied voices in the quieter booths, and a number of patrons have felt invisible hands brushing against them as they sit at the bar. Objects often move on their own, with glasses being knocked over by unseen forces. For those who love a good scare with their drink, the Crown Liquor Saloon offers both history and hauntings in equal measure. The Spirit Merchant, Newtownards. In the heart of Newtownards, the Spirit Merchant is not only known for its great food and drinks but also for its rich history and paranormal activity. Housed in a building that dates back to the 18th century, the pub gets its name from a time when merchants would frequent the area, trading goods and spirits, both the alcoholic and ghostly kinds. However, it's the spirits that linger from the past that have made the Spirit Merchant famous for more than just its atmosphere. One of the most frequently reported ghostly apparitions is that of a man in a long coat and hat, often seen sitting at a table near the back of the pub, nursing a drink. Staff and patrons alike have seen him sitting quietly, staring into space. When approached, he vanishes without a trace. Many believe this ghost to be the spirit of a former merchant who died in a fire that destroyed parts of the building in the 1800s. His tragic death seems to have left him tied to the pub, where he now spends his afterlife silently watching the world go by. In addition to this ghostly merchant, strange sounds are often heard echoing through the pub, particularly after closing time. Staff have reported hearing footsteps upstairs, even when the area is locked off, and the sound of glassware clinking, as if someone is having a drink long after the pub has closed for the night. One manager shared a story of closing up late one evening when they heard the sound of chairs scraping across the floor. Thinking someone had stayed behind, they went to check, but the pub was empty, and the chairs were all in their original positions. Another chilling occurrence happened to a group of patrons in the early 2000s when they witnessed a pint glass slide off the edge of the bar and crash to the floor with no apparent cause. Several witnesses claimed to feel an icy draft sweep through the room just before the incident, and the bartender later remarked that this wasn't the first time something like that had happened. The spirit merchant is also said to be haunted by a female ghost, often seen near the upstairs rooms. This apparition is believed to be the spirit of a woman who once worked in the building during its time as a boarding house. Described as wearing a long, dark dress with her hair pinned up in a bun, the woman is often seen walking through the halls, carrying out her duties as if she's still alive. Several guests who have stayed overnight in the upstairs rooms have reported waking up to find the figure standing at the foot of their bed, watching them silently before fading away into the shadows. In one eerie account, a staff member working late at night claimed to see the woman's reflection in a mirror while cleaning up after closing. When he turned around, no one was there, but the mirror fogged up suddenly, as if someone had been breathing heavily near it. Despite the unsettling experiences, the Spirit Merchant remains a popular local spot, attracting patrons who enjoy its vibrant atmosphere and perhaps the occasional brush with the supernatural. The pub's history, combined with its ghostly tales, makes it a must-visit for those intrigued by both good drinks and the paranormal. The Dirty Onion, Belfast. The Dirty Onion, located in the Cathedral Quarter of Belfast, is one of the city's oldest buildings, dating back to 1680. Known today for its live music and bustling atmosphere, this pub's long history is steeped in the supernatural, with reports of hauntings going back centuries. Originally a bonded warehouse, the Dirty Onion has seen its fair share of tragedy. During the 18th and 19th centuries, the building was part of Belfast's bustling dock trade, where workers would store goods such as whiskey and linen. The conditions in the area were harsh, and it was not uncommon for workers to meet untimely deaths due to accidents or violence. Over time, it's believed that some of these lost souls never left. One of the most famous ghostly figures associated with the Dirty Onion is that of a young boy who is said to roam the upper levels of the building. Described as a ragged child dressed in clothing typical of the early 1800s, he is often seen running through the pub, only to vanish when approached. The boy is believed to have been a worker who died in a tragic accident, possibly falling from one of the upper levels of the warehouse. His spirit has been spotted by both staff and patrons, with many describing a sudden drop in temperature before seeing his apparition. Another eerie occurrence frequently reported involves the sound of heavy footsteps coming from the upper floors after closing time. Staff members have mentioned hearing the unmistakable sound of boots walking across the wooden floors, even though the building was locked and empty. In one incident, a bartender claimed to have heard the footsteps and, thinking it was a security issue, went to investigate. As he reached the upper floor, the footsteps abruptly stopped, and he was left standing in silence. One chilling event occurred in the early 2000s when a group of musicians were performing in the pub. During their set, several members of the audience reported seeing a shadowy figure standing near the back of the room. The figure, which appeared to be watching the performance, wore old-fashioned clothes and had a gaunt, pale face. When one of the band members turned to acknowledge the presence, the figure disappeared. After the performance, several audience members approached the staff to ask who the mysterious spectator was, only to be told that no such person had been in the pub that evening. The Dirty Onion's paranormal activity isn't limited to ghostly figures. Staff members have reported glasses moving on their own, lights flickering for no reason, and doors slamming shut in the middle of the night. One former employee even claimed to have seen an entire tray of drinks lifted off the bar and dropped to the floor by an unseen force. Despite the hauntings, the Dirty Onion remains one of Belfast's most popular pubs, attracting locals and tourists alike. But for those who visit after dark, the pub's lively atmosphere is often accompanied by an eerie feeling that something or someone is watching. Whether it's the ghostly boy running through the halls or the shadowy figure that appears at performances, the Dirty Onion offers both history and hauntings in equal measure. Kelly's Cellars, Belfast. Located in the heart of Belfast, Kelly's Cellars is not only one of the city's oldest pubs but also one of its most haunted. Dating back to 1720, Kelly's has long been associated with Irish Republican history and political rebellion. It served as a meeting place for the United Irishmen during the 1798 rebellion, and the pub's walls have witnessed centuries of history. But beneath its political significance lies a paranormal legacy that has unsettled patrons and staff alike for generations. The most famous ghost linked to Kelly's Cellars is that of a man believed to be a former patron who met a tragic end during the Irish Rebellion. Described as tall, imposing, and dressed in old military clothing, this spirit is said to haunt the pub's cellar. The underground area, where secret meetings were once held, has become a hotspot for paranormal activity. The ghost is often seen pacing back and forth, as though waiting for a rendezvous that never materializes. Some believe he is forever trapped in the past, replaying moments from the rebellion. Late at night, after the pub has closed, staff frequently report hearing heavy footsteps coming from the cellar. Despite investigating numerous times, no one has ever found an explanation for the sounds. The footsteps stop abruptly, only to start again minutes later, as if someone is walking in circles. The atmosphere in the cellar is described as oppressive, with some staff members refusing to go down there alone. Another eerie experience comes from the pub's back rooms, where political meetings were once held. These areas are known for sudden drops in temperature and a strong feeling of being watched. Patrons sitting in these back rooms have reported hearing faint whispers, as though conversations from centuries past are still taking place. One regular claimed that, on a quiet evening, he distinctly heard murmured voices, though no one was seated near him. The whispers grew louder, but when he stood up to investigate, they vanished. In one particularly chilling account, a bartender closing up late one night noticed a chair move across the floor by itself. He was alone in the room, and no one else had been near the chair for hours. As he watched in disbelief, the chair slid back into place, as though someone unseen had pushed it. The bartender left in a hurry that night, and the story became one of many strange incidents tied to Kelly's haunted reputation. Beyond the ghost of the rebellious patron, visitors have also reported encountering shadowy figures in the corners of the bar. These apparitions, often seen out of the corner of the eye, disappear as soon as they are noticed. Glasses have been known to fall from shelves with no apparent cause, and the sound of a door creaking open when no one is there has become a common occurrence. Kelly's Cellars remains a beloved pub for both locals and tourists, but its connection to the past, and the spirits that seem to linger, make it a place where history and the supernatural collide. For those seeking a pint with a side of the paranormal, Kelly's Cellars offers a chilling, yet unforgettable experience. The Hole in the Wall, Armagh. The Hole in the Wall, located in the heart of Armagh, is a small pub with a long history and an even longer list of ghostly encounters. Established in the early 17th century, the pub has seen its share of rowdy patrons, brawls, and even tragedy. Over the centuries, the Hole in the Wall has developed a reputation as one of the most haunted pubs in Northern Ireland, with numerous reports of eerie occurrences and apparitions tied to its dark past. One of the most famous ghost stories associated with the Hole in the Wall is that of a man named Tommy, who is believed to have been killed during a violent brawl in the pub in the early 1800s. According to legend, Tommy was stabbed in one of the back rooms and died from his injuries before help could arrive. His spirit, it seems, never left. Patrons and staff alike have reported seeing a shadowy figure lingering near the back of the pub, especially on quiet nights when the atmosphere is heavy. Tommy's ghost is not a silent one. Some witnesses have heard the sound of heavy breathing or faint moans coming from the room where he died. Others have experienced sudden cold spots, even in the heat of summer, as though Tommy's presence brings a chill with it. One former staff member recounted how, during a late-night clean-up, he heard a loud thud, as if something heavy had fallen. When he went to check, nothing was out of place, except for a strange coldness that seemed to follow him throughout the pub. But Tommy is not the only ghost said to haunt the Hole in the Wall. Another frequent sighting is that of a mysterious woman who is often seen sitting alone in the corner, dressed in old-fashioned clothing. Described as wearing a long dress and bonnet, the woman appears to be waiting for someone. Patrons who have tried to approach her report feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness, followed by the woman disappearing before their eyes. One particularly strange event occurred in the 1980s when a group of locals were enjoying a night out. As they sat at the bar, they noticed a glass suddenly lift off the counter and smash against the wall with no apparent cause. The air grew noticeably colder, and the sound of footsteps echoed from the back of the pub. No one was there, but the group was convinced they had witnessed Tommy's anger or perhaps the presence of the mysterious woman. The eerie phenomena don't stop there. Glasses have been known to shatter on their own, lights flicker without explanation, and doors slam shut as if an unseen force is moving through the pub. Staff often report feeling watched while working late at night, and some refuse to enter the back rooms alone. Despite its haunted reputation, the Hole in the Wall remains a popular spot for locals and visitors. Its ghostly inhabitants only add to the charm and intrigue of the centuries-old establishment. For those brave enough to venture into its back rooms, a pint at the Hole in the Wall may come with a side of the supernatural. That wraps up our journey through Northern Ireland's most haunted pubs. Whether you're a fan of history, a lover of good stories, or just someone who enjoys a good scare, these pubs have something for everyone, both the living and the dead. If you're ever in the area, don't forget to visit one of these pubs, but be prepared, you may leave with more than just a memory of a pint. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed this eerie trip through Northern Ireland's haunted history. See you next time.